This is Express Leads. Hello, and welcome to Express Leads, the podcast where we explore cutting-edge strategies, tools, and insights to help entrepreneurs and small business owners thrive. I'm your host, Paul Brady, and today we're announcing something exciting. My company, Brady Consulting, has launched an all-in-one marketing platform that's designed to simplify your life, grow your business, and help you dominate the market. I love it when I use words like that. Dominate. But of course, we are talking about my new platform, Cajun Pipeline. And, Cajun Pipeline integrates all your marketing, sales, and customer management needs into one seamless system. Whether you're a solopreneur trying to juggle multiple hats, or a small business owner looking to scale, hang out for this entire episode because this episode is specifically for you. So let's start by talking about a few things. Number one, let's talk about challenges, right? So small to medium-sized businesses or SMBs and entrepreneurs are facing some specific challenges, right? And they're probably, as a small business, you're probably juggling, things like managing leads, running marketing campaigns, following up with prospects, and then nurturing existing customers. And I know, I've done it. We've all done it. That's a lot, right? But what happens when you're stretched thin? I mean, opportunities slip through the cracks. The prospects go cold, campaigns underperform, all all the bad things you don't want to hear when you're running a business, right? And I tell clients this all the time. If you get a lead, you really need to follow up with them as soon as possible because it's a very competitive market. And if someone is reaching out to you, chances are they are shopping, which means that they're going to be looking for their next opportunity. And if you don't get back to them and say, if you get a text message and you're available, get back to them within 5 minutes. I've literally had clients say, I saved those things for Wednesday or something. I'm like, yeah, but today's Monday. By the time you get to Wednesday, they're gone. They're long gone. And even, I would argue a couple hours would be too late in some cases, right? So, you got to kind of think about those things. And businesses, right, in addition to many other things, are stretched thin. Having the ability, which Cajun Pipeline gives you, to reach out to these people in kind of an automated way that keeps them engaged and interested in your product is the way to go. So, unfortunately, either fortunately or unfortunately, that's the reality for many of us, right? So, but it doesn't have to be, right? So with Cajun Pipeline, it not only helps you simplify your workflow, but also helps you achieve real tangible outcomes. So, like higher lead conversion rates, more sales, better engagement with your clients. Those are all really important things, right? And engagement and sales, of course, are huge, but engagement's big. You're not going to get anywhere with a client if you're not engaging with them. And so if someone sends you an email, right? Typical customer has a website. They send an email through a contact form. It goes in, from their perspective, goes into a black hole, or maybe they get an auto reply and that's it. That's really not the way that you want to address that, right? So you want to have an automated solution that sends them into a campaign. They get several emails and you have a call to action. You have a goal, right? So, let's talk a little bit more though. Let's dig in on Cajun Pipeline a little bit and talk about that. So what makes it different? There's probably a million things out there, right? There's ActiveCampaign, there's HubSpot, there's MailChimp, and some of them only serve one purpose and some serve multiple purposes. But either way, a lot of times it doesn't matter. Small businesses will conflate those and think they're all the same anyways. So what distinguishes Cajun Pipeline? And really, it's not really about features, right? I always tell clients about this and I always talk about it, but it's like Steve Jobs famously said, customers aren't interested in megabytes and megahertz. They're interested in what the Mac can do for them. They're interested in how it can help their business. They're interested in how it can help them create a website, how it can, you can make a movie, a family movie, how you can do a podcast, for instance, right? They're interested in that. So same thing, following in the large footsteps of Steve Jobs, not comparing myself to him, obviously. It's no comparison. He's a visionary genius. But, outcomes are important. And so when you look at specific things like lead generation and a CRM, which is really just for those of you that don't know, it's a customer relationship management is what CRM stands for. And it just is the database piece of the Cajun Pipeline. It's where all your leads go, right? You can manage them to their email addresses, their phone numbers. It's like, it's like a directory of all your clients, right? But it's managed within the platform. So, speaking of that, right? You look at that and you look at how it helps you. Cajun Pipeline helps you capture, organize, and manage your leads in one place with this CRM and all its associated features. How is that important to businesses, right? And that's easy. If you have Cajun Pipeline, you're never going to lose track of a potential customer again, right? You'll have all your contact information, activity history, follow-up reminders, all in one system, which means that that equates to faster follow-ups and higher conversion rates, right? And the second part of that, right, which I touched on for a second there, is marketing automation. So, automating your email campaigns, automating your SMS messages and workflows to nurture leads without manually having to respond, manually having to pick the phone up and set up appointments, manually having to, send calendar and video links for online meetings. All that stuff's done automatically. So the outcome is, basically you're saving time, right? You're delivering consistent, personalized communication to your prospects. And it's like having a marketing assistant, right? But it's on autopilot. It's just, think of it as, I was going to say virtual Paul, but it's really not. It's Cajun Pipeline. Now, the other thing that's important, and a lot of small businesses kind of lose sight of this, right, is your sales pipelines. So, whether you may or may not do this today, but kind of try and visualize your sales pipeline and track prospects as they move through the funnel. So how do people do that today, right? And what is that? Well, that's built into Cajun Pipeline. And what it does is Cajun Pipeline helps you identify bottlenecks, take action to move deals forward. And it helps you identify what stage of the pipeline they're in, which you can define that, whether they're a lead, a marketing qualified lead, a customer, a no-show at a meeting, whatever things you define, right? And basically it's clarity and strategy being combined there, right? So another thing, that you'd look at that basically is an important for most businesses, and again, I think, in my opinion, overlooked, is reputation management. A lot of people, don't concern themselves with Google reviews. They don't concern themselves with their brand and their reputation. So if you're creating a professional website quickly and easily, as an example, and you're using Cajun Pipeline to do that, right? You want to be able to just as quickly and easily protect your reputation. So, any tool out there, right? You can go and use it and you can become overwhelmed with that, right? The good thing about Cajun Pipeline is that I onboard every new client, and I provide a way for them to onboard, either by meeting with me or through training. And but I customize things for their business. So people, when you look at HubSpot, you look at ActiveCampaign, you look at MailChimp, for the most part, with the exception of maybe templates, for the most part, you're just given a blank canvas and you're expected to do it all. And with Cajun Pipeline, there's a combination of the domain knowledge that my team and I have and the capabilities of the platform, so that you're set up in a way that once we consult with you, everything just goes, right? You're ready to go. That cannot be said about HubSpot or ActiveCampaign or ClickFunnels or any of those other products I talked about, right? As competitors of sorts, right? So getting back to reputation review management here, right? You're building trust and credibility with your audience, and again, super important to maintain an online reputation. Reporting and analytics is another key thing to look at, right? A lot of businesses um, you know, find that vital. And when you're using, again, the beauty of Cajun Pipeline, when you're using a multitude of tools, right, then what's happening is that you're going out and having to check analytics across different tools and trying to reconcile all that data into various spreadsheets and figure out, how you're doing. Cajun Pipeline makes data-driven decisions and to optimize, your strategy and maximize your ROI easy, right? You have easy access to detailed reports on your campaign sales and customer interactions. And there's tons of stuff. I mean, I can't, there's so many things I can't really even go into all of them, but you can manage and analyze as little or as much as you want. So you even have things like call metrics. If you have an activated phone number on Cajun Pipeline, you can go in and look at the number of people that are calling you, the number of times you called back, the number of times the calls were answered, the number of times they weren't answered, they went to voicemail, or they went to, which workflows were kicked off, and a lot of what that means, right? And so there's a lot of data to dig into. So if you're a data person, that's great. If you're not a data person and you don't want to drown in data, there are plenty of high level data metrics that give you all the information you need, and they're super useful, right? So let's shift gears for a second and talk about a little bit more about outcomes, right? Because features are great, but like I said with Steve Jobs, people don't care about megahertz and megabytes. They want to know how it benefits them, right? So here's just a few examples of results you can expect from Cajun Pipeline in your business, right? So more time to focus on growth, obviously, right? So with automation handling your repetitive tasks, you can focus on strategy and scaling your business. And that just goes without saying, right? If you're not trying to, handle all these things manually, the calls, the emails, the meeting, scheduling, setting up meetings, it's just a whole multitude of things. It lets you focus on that, right? Now, in addition to that, once you're able to focus more on business, it leads right into increased lead conversions, right? So there are faster follow-ups. Remember, I said that earlier. If the guy that on Monday says I'll get back to him on Wednesday, forget it. They're gone. If you get back to him quickly, aka faster follow-ups and personalized nurturing, means fewer leads slipping through the cracks. And that is super, super important because, again, if you're not responding to those things as quickly as you can, then you're essentially just, losing that person, right? You're letting them go after probably investing some time and money in advertising bucks and everything else in it. So, don't waste your money on that kind of stuff. And of course, cost savings is another piece. By consolidating tools, you're saving money on multiple software subscriptions. And by the way, it can be deceiving. Someone might say, well, your platform cost, X, but I'm paying less for MailChimp. Yeah, you are. And MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, and those guys all come in at a very low price initially. And that's the key term there, initially, right? Initially they do, but once your contacts grow, once you have 50, 100, 500, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, right? And that's the goal. You want to grow your business, right? They hide their expense. They hide their expense in that. And also, it's like comparing apples to oranges, right? You can't really compare like a MailChimp to Cajun Pipeline. Cajun Pipeline does a lot of things. I mean, it's calendar management, it's website design and hosting, if you want to. It's integration with your existing website. It's VoIP or phone capabilities. It's marketing automation for email. It's social media management. And it goes on and on and on, right? I don't like to go through the features because I don't want to overwhelm people. But that's something to keep in mind too, because you might say, well, I'm only paying slightly more with MailChimp at this point. I'm happy with that. Well, yeah, that's fine if you just want to do email marketing. But if you think about all those other tools you have that you're paying a monthly fee for also that are probably available in Cajun Pipeline. So there's a cost savings there again, right? When you consolidate tools, you save money, period. on those subscriptions. And it's not just money once, it's every month, right? And bottom line is, and probably one of the more important things is peace of mind. With everything in one place, you have better visibility, control over your business operations. And that is totally true. I mean, in using Cajun Pipeline, which again, I drink the Kool-Aid, I use it myself for my business. Obviously, it's part of my business, but I also use it for all my marketing. One of the most, awesome things about Cajun Pipeline is that I'm not going to 5 different tools to do stuff. It's all one tool. And I like it like that. I don't like having to constantly juggle different tools, looking at different things, and then things that were integrations between disparate tools all of a sudden stop working. And it's just a headache, right? You're not going to get that with Cajun Pipeline. I've kind of gone, all out for a Cajun Pipeline discussion here, but, just to recap here, right? I mean, Cajun Pipeline, at Brady Consulting, what I do is I help businesses organize, streamline, and automate their sales and marketing operations and their business operations, using Cajun Pipeline. And by using that, I'm able to then provide a way for businesses to have those sales and marketing funnels, those websites, those marketing automation things, that social media. They're managing everything within one. And because they're doing that, you can then interact and use the different functions or features that normally would be separate tools on one platform to your advantage. So for instance, you can use variables across your entire thing. You can set custom variables up on a platform for a company name, for company phone number, for links to important things, all as variables, and then use them everywhere. And so it's just there's a lot to it, and it's hard to explain in a brief conversation, which is why I think the next step would be, and I have it on my website, but if folks are interested in a demo, they can go to cajunpipeline.bradyconsult.com/demo, and there's a pre-recorded demo there where you can at least see something. If you're interested, you can just go to cajunpipeline.bradyconsult.com/schedule and schedule a live discussion with me where I can then go through and answer any of your questions, or even do a live demo that's a little more detailed if you like. I know Black Friday and Cyber Monday are over, but I always like to try and extend those deals. So if anyone's listening to this in December of 2024, then what I'll say is I'll offer a deal, a discount up to the end of the year, December 31st, where I'll discuss your business needs with you, and we can work, and I'll go through the discount with you on there. My pricing is on my page. I do not have the discounts listed, but I will list a discount for anyone that sets up an appointment to talk with me. But listen, thank you for joining me. It's been, a slight epilogue here. Last time I posted, I said, hey, see you next Friday. And then it was 2 years later, actually more than 2 years. And, just life stuff, moved, disassembled my entire quote unquote studio, reassembled it in one apartment, left that apartment, moved to another apartment. So not for bad reasons, for good reasons. My wife and I and my family sold our house, and we moved, into an apartment, and we plan on buying a house again, but we kind of took advantage of a crazy market since we were planning on selling in about 5 years anyway. So, and we have a whole strategy I won't go into because I'll bore you, but basically, reach out anytime. Cajun Pipeline, .bradyconsult.com. You can also get to it by going to, bradyconsult.com, and at the top menu, our marketing platform, select Cajun Pipeline marketing platform. That will also bring you right to the page. And, there's a lot of detail on the page all about the platform. I'm very excited about it. There's kind of a history of, what I've done in the past. I mean, many years ago, when I just did web design. One of the things that one of the issues I always used to have, problems I had, was everyone had a different hosting platform and no one could remember their passwords, and it was just a real headache. So eventually I went out and got my own virtual server. And so I have my own Linux server and I do all my hosting on there. And now I have zero problems with that. Well, fast forward, to 2023, and I started getting very much the same feeling with my marketing. I did a lot of marketing services, but different people worked on different platforms, or they didn't work on anything at all. And I had to set them up on platforms that put basically money into some third party's pocket, and I had very little flexibility as to what I could do, or to types of discounts I could have, or any of that stuff, right? Nonprofit pricing. I had no control over any of that. So I decided, you know what? I am going to license and build out my own platform. That's exactly what I did. And now I have all the freedom in the world to make the best possible all-in-one marketing platform I can for folks. And, if you're looking for a way as a small business person to capture those leads, and then once they're captured in your CRM, you've got basically customer management online. Well, what can you do? Well, now that they're on the platform, you can do all those things I talked about with those leads. And you can connect to all your social media channels and manage them. And it's just, the list goes on and on. So if you're curious, reach out. Again, Paul Brady, I'm glad to be back podcasting again. And I will, and this time I won't disappear for 2 years. I'll see you next Friday. Thanks, and have a great weekend. This has been Express Leads, hosted by Paul Brady of Brady Consulting and Inbound Marketing. If you have questions or comments, please feel free to leave us a voice message by visiting anchor.fm/expressleads. Thank you.